In this video, we are going to demonstrate the failover groups functionality for Azure SQL Server. The idea here is that when we have a user, he's going to be able to run applications that have a SQL backend. And that SQL backend is protected with high availability enabled. So let's see how it works. Let's suppose we are running our deployment in United States. The first thing that we need to do is to create a SQL server in one of our regions. For this example, we are going to use East US, and we are going to assign this name to our server, eastus-mouseserver.database.windows.net. Here, we are going to create an example database called MouDB. Let's go to the portal to do it. I'm here in my resource group. I will click Add, click Databases, click SQL Database. I need to specify the name of my database and create a server with this name. So let's do that. This is the name of my database. And I need to create a server. This is the name of my server that I can see here in the slide. I need to specify my username. I'm going to use this one. And my password. And select the region, which in this case is East US, and click OK. I'm going to select the size of my database, which for the moment I'm going to use a standard size, and click Apply. I will go to Networking, choose the public endpoint, allow Azure, allow my public IP, click Additional Settings, Tags, Review and Create, and Create. The deployment will start, and I will pause the video and come back once it's finished. The deployment is complete now. At this moment, we created the server, we created the database, and we should be able to connect to it. Let's see it. I'm here back to the resource group where I have my resources. Click the name of my database, and I will click beside the server name to copy the server name to the clipboard. I open SQL, Server Management Studio, paste the name of my database, my username, my database server, my username and my password, and click Connect. And then I successfully connect to the server. I can see my database there. Then I need to add the failover component to my database server. In order to do that, I need to create a secondary server in a secondary region so I have high availability on my database. Later, the idea is to create a high available DNS name in top of my configuration. My users then will be able to connect to this DNS server, and that DNS server is going to direct the traffic to the region that is available in case that an outage occurs. The name of this object here is an Azure SQL DB failover group. When we create that, Azure is going to create a replica server of a replica database of our original database. And then we are going to have a primary region and a secondary region. The users are going to connect to this name, and this name is going to direct the traffic to the primary region. If the primary region for some reason goes down, the failover group is going to direct the traffic from the users to the new primary region, which used to be the secondary region. Let's build the failover group. The first step that I need to do is to build the secondary server without a database. Then we are going to create a failover group, and this is going to configure the replica database. So again, let's create this secondary server in the secondary region. I'm back to the portal to my resource group. I'm going to click Add. I'm going to type SQL. And remember, we are going to create only the server, not the database. For that, I need to click Azure SQL, Create, select Database Server. Again, we are going to create the server only. Here, I need to select the server name in my secondary region, which is going to be this one here. Let's do that. Going to enter the name of the server here. Location, it's going to be West US 2 because I want to use my pair region. And I have a little disclaimer for you here. My current subscription doesn't have quota to deploy servers on this one. Therefore, I'm going to use West US 2. You should be always using the pair region as a best practice. For the moment, I am going to use West US 2. Need to enter my login name for my database and my password. Click networking, additional settings, tags, review and create, and create. I'm going to pause the video until it's finished. And the deployment is complete now. Now I have my primary server here in East US and my secondary server here in West US. But if one of my regions goes down, I want to have a mechanism of failover that allows my applications to go to the server that is up and running in a transparent way. In order to do that, we are going to create the failover group. To do that, we need to go to the primary server. I'm here back in the portal, go to my resource group, and I need to select my primary server, in this case, my East US server. I'm going to click here, Failover Groups, Add Group, and then I need to specify my failover group name, which is going to be this one here, US mouse server.database.windows. I'm going to do that. I'm going to specify it here. My secondary server is going to be the one that I just created in West US. My read and write failover policy, it's going to be automatic. And my read-write grace period is going to be 1 hour. I can change it here, but I will keep 1 hour. And the database that I want to be high available is the database that I created in my first step. I'm going to select it. And finally, I'm going to click Create. And the deployment is in progress. I will pause the video. What I'm creating now is the failover group. So this is a DNS name that I need to point my users and applications. I need to use this name to my users and applications. This DNS name is going to transfer the traffic to the primary server. If for some reason the primary server goes down or the primary region goes down, the failover group is going to transfer the traffic to the secondary region in a transparent way. In this, by using this mechanism, I never need to update the name of my entry point for my applications. Back to the portal, I see that my failover group has been deployed. I will click to its name, and I'm going to see that my primary server is the East US server, and my secondary server is the West US server. And my failover listener group name is this one. Let me copy that one. And as I said, this is the name that I need to use for my users and applications. Let's go back to SQL and use that name, enter my username and password, and let's give it a try. So now you can see we are connected to the high available name or to the failover group name. Let's go here to databases and do a query to our database. New query. I'm going to paste this command, and this command is going to tell me what is the name of the server where my database is running. This time I can see here that I'm running in the SUS server, right? I can see it here because that's the primary. Let's go back to Azure, and I am going to do a failover. I will click here, failover, and this is going to tell me that it's going to switch my regions, so the primary will become the secondary and vice versa. You can see that for the moment, East US is still the primary, West US is the secondary. I'm going to pause the video until the failover is completed. the failover operation is completed, and now you can see that the West US server is the primary and the East US server is the secondary. Let's go back to SQL. And from here, we are going to retry the command. It is important to say that your application needs to have the retry operation configured. Once the failover occurred, SQL needs to reconnect to the failover group name. So let's run the command again. And as you can see here, now we are connected exactly to the same failover group name. We didn't change this, but under the covers, our database is running in the West US server. Okay, that's a demonstration of how to configure failover groups. Thank you very much.